This is Dream Power Radio, the place where your dreams turn into reality. Here is your host, Debbie Spector-Weissman.
Hello, and welcome to Dream Power Radio. I'm your host, certified dream life coach, Debbie Spector-Weissman. This is a place where we talk about dreams, both daytime and nighttime dreams, and how you can use them to make the internal shift to a life you love and rediscover the truth of who you really are. One of the ways I like to exercise is by walking. And every morning when the weather is nice, I like to take a stroll down my driveway and the country road where I live. My companion on these short journeys is music playing through my earbuds. My tastes are eclectic, so sometimes I play classic rock, sometimes it's Latin jazz, other times it's some great oldies from my youth. Listening to the music makes the walk seem to go faster and certainly a more enjoyable experience for me. Well, that's just one example of the power that music has to affect our moods. But now we're going to take that a step further and explore how musical sound can be used for actual healing. I'm so excited to say that our guide for this is my special guest, Ashana, one of the premier musical healing artists of our time. Ashana is considered a pioneer in the use of crystal bowls for healing, and she's taught her modalities to students all over the world. Downloads of her best-selling music, including Celestial Sleep and The Illuminated Path, have reached millions. She's also the author of the groundbreaking book, Crystal Singing Bowls, The Angelic Sound of Healing, Relaxation, and Spiritual Awakening. Welcome to Dream Power Radio, Ashana.
Thank you so much, Debbie. Thank you for having me here on the show. I really am enjoying being with you.
Oh, I'm excited to get into this whole subject of sound healing. But Ashana, when did you first discover the healing power of music for yourself?
When I was about 2 years old. Seriously, I was one of those kids that hummed incessantly. And I realized it drove my mother nuts because, she'd be like, go to bed. And I'd be in bed and I'd be just singing and singing away. And it would kind of drive her a little bit crazy. But it wasn't until decades later that I realized that what I was doing was self-soothing. And that humming itself, and Jonathan Goldman's actually written a book about it, which was hilarious to me because when it finally came out, I took a look at it and I went, humming? I've been humming my entire life. We're just now realizing that humming is a healing practice.
You could have written the book.
I could have written that. No, not really. I mean, it's a wonderful book, but it's very self-soothing to send your own vibrations through your body, and it calms the nervous system down. And I didn't realize that that's what I was doing when I was little. So when you asked me that question, when did I first learn? It was unintentionally learned it when I was 2. And then it took me a long time in my development as an artist to actually move from the joy of music making to see that how healing that was. And there was a switch. It was a pivot right around, I would have to say around 2001, 2002, when I began integrating crystal bowls into my music. And 2005, when I met my producer, Thomas Barkey, and he was like, if I was your producer, I'd put you into healing music. And I was like, what's that? Because to me, music was, I never put a word on it as healing. It was just music, and it opened my heart and it soothed my spirit. And so that's what being a pioneer in a genre is all about. You're breaking new ground. And sometimes you don't even know you're breaking the new ground. And that's kind of what happened to me.
You're just doing what you love.
I was just doing what I love. It was as simple as that. And what made sense to me.
Yeah. So what was it that actually led you to singing bowls in the first place?
Well, it was a phone call from a friend. And she called me up one day and she goes, have you ever heard of crystal singing bowls? And I was like, no. She goes, these are right up your alley. You need to get one. So I, right then and there, got off the phone with her, got a bowl, ordered one over the phone, never thought about it, had no idea because at that point in time, this was 1999. At that point in time, crystal singing bowls were not a thing. It was actually a very unusual thing. So I ordered one and it arrived in the house 3 weeks later. I opened up the box, put it on my kitchen table, took out this enormous white classic frosted heavy. These are the original crystal bowls. Plopped it down on the kitchen table, took the mallet, went boing, under the side, and immediately I started sobbing. And the tears just went right down my face. And I thought that light had come to live in my house. It was like, oh my God, in my house, this light lives. And then the second thought that I had,
I saw it was light.
it was pure light. The sound of it was pure light. I knew it. I felt it instantly. And then the second thought that I had was, one day I'm going to put these into music. And it was absolutely clear because, here you're talking about dreams. It was a dream of mine for decades to record and release my original material and songs. And I've been doing that. I've been recording materials since probably the 1985, 1986. I was already recording process. But it wasn't until the bowls, it's like, it took all of those experiments and explorations that I did, because I recorded lots of material, but up to that point. But it was when the bowls came in, it's like everything landed. It just went like that. And really, once I met my producer, Thomas Barkey, it was months later, we recorded the first song in one of my albums, All Is Forgiven. We recorded Ave Maria, and it's gone on literally to become a classic. It's played millions and millions and millions of times. So you just don't even know. It was in the studio, and Thomas looks at me and he goes, "What key?" I said, D flat. And what are we going to do? And I was like, Ave Maria. And it just landed right out of my mouth and turned into a piece of music.
Yeah, I tell you, for anybody who hasn't heard it, it is magnificent. I think it's on YouTube.
Oh, it's all over. You can find it everywhere. And I'm so grateful because that song, when I first heard it, when I first heard the master of it, and it just had come out, we were just getting ready to release it, and Thomas sent me the final mixes, and I was listening to it, and I was stunned because I didn't know, you never know until after the whole thing is done, and you listening, I was like stunned. And in that moment, I did a prayer, and I said, Divine Mother, this is yours. Take this, send it wherever it needs to go.
Yeah, that is wonderful. So let's get back to the crystal bowls themselves.
Here they are.
What is it about the sound that helps quiet the mind?
It's pure tone frequency. And when we hear that sound, that the sound itself is just full of these angelic overtones. They shimmer. And when we hear this, our immediate response is that the nervous system just begins to literally within 3 minutes, it just begins to go like this, quiet. And all of the busyness, if your brain waves are just like ratcheting it up in beta, they're just like going gaga, 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 you're in thinking mind. You hear these frequencies, and all of a sudden, literally, it just starts moving and shifting into an alpha state, especially when the person playing it is playing from an intention of the sound being very healing, the sound being one of peace, the sound being meant to soothe and comfort and open up to a connection, divine connection with one's soul. When all of that is behind it, the pure tone frequencies of the bowls, the intention of the player, the overtones and the harmonics that are naturally present inside of the bowls, they all kind of conspire to help you move into a different state of being.
And it really helps connect you to your soul.
Oh, almost instantly for many people. And for many people, the first step of that is just, can I get to this point where I'm just not thinking constantly? You know how the mind goes, just monkey minds, like constant. And we can't rest. We're anxious, we're stressed, we're worried, we're concerned. We have chronic pain, we're frazzled. Some of us are feel fractured. There's a lot going on. We're challenged by life's challenges. And when we can sit in, you lie down in preferably lying down, but sitting is fine too. And we actually have this experience of these sounds just washing over us. It brings the entire energy body into a state of harmony. It brings our body systems, all our body systems, the hormonal system, the neural system, the nervous system, the hormonal system. It just brings all the systems of the body. It starts to bring them back into their innate harmony. And that's what happens with sound healing. It's like we literally are retuning the body back to a state of harmony. And when you do this over and 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 over again, the body remembers what it feels like to be.
And it just goes there. Is there a difference in the impact between playing the bowls and just listening to them?
Well, yeah. I mean, it would be the same as if you were singing a song or listening to somebody sing a song. If you're singing yourself, and everybody can imagine this because we all have voices and we all can sing. So when you sing, you feel the vibrations of sound running through your entire body. And when you are the receiver of the song, when you're listening and you're experiencing someone who is singing, that person it's a powerful experience to listen to and be present, be a witness to another's sharing of song. That is its own experience. And, music can bring us to tears. Music can bring us to elevate us into states of joy. Music can make us laugh. Music can make us feel powerful and empowered. Music can gather us all together. And the artists that do that work, are really, gathering souls together, bringing them into a state of unified consciousness as a group. And the whole group energy just elevates. But there's a really different experience from being the player or the singer when you're doing that. There's an experience, at least I have this, where the music and the sound is just going freely right through my whole body. So I can feel the bowls vibrating through my hands, my fingers. I can feel the sound of my voice just buzzing through my bones and my blood, my skin, and it's exhilarating. The beautiful thing is that with crystal singing bowls, they are such a simple instrument to play that anybody can actually learn how to do that. These are just here's a little one, right? They only do two things. You can tap them on the side like this, or you take a mallet and you run it around the top. So pretty much anybody can do this. And to bring this kind of instrument into your life is a blessing. It's a gift. To have that in your hand and feel that vibration going through your body is exquisite. So I highly recommend it.
We are going to talk more about this, but we do have to take a short break now. We're speaking about crystal singing bowls with Ashana, and we'll be right back. I hope you're enjoying the powerful insights I bring you every week on Dream Power Radio. Now, there's a way to get more. Sign up to be a subscriber. You'll get sneak previews of upcoming shows, exclusive access to material not heard on the podcast, and special giveaways designed to uplift your dreaming life. Become a Dream Power Radio subscriber today. Sign up now by clicking on the Support the Show link in the show notes.
Welcome back to Dream Power Radio with your host, Debbie Spector-Weissman.
Welcome back to Dream Power Radio. I'm your host, Debbie Spector-Weissman, and we're talking about sound healing with Ashana. Well, Ashana, you have trained students in your Crystal Bowl Mastery program to use the bowls for therapeutic healing. Do you have examples or stories of how this has been used to actually help people deal with things like chronic pain or other illnesses?
Oh my God. There are so many of this. Oftentimes I hear this regularly with my students, and we have another program which is called Celestial Alignment for Healing, where we gather together people in a group and do like an online course for 8 weeks. And they're playing the music. They're not even playing a bowl themselves. They're actually just using the music for meditation, for uplifting, for mindset shifting. And what we've seen happen, which is just extraordinary, people not even by the end of the program, within 2 to 3 weeks of the program, people's chronic pain levels are dropping. In this last time we ran the program, we had a woman who was struggling with severe rheumatoid arthritis. She was going on a plane trip. She was recommended by her doctor to do the wheelchair thing in order to get through the airport. And so she went to the airport, was in the little area where all the people in the wheelchairs were. And she took a look around and she goes, gosh, these people, they feel old and they feel sick. She goes, I'm not like that. And so she had in her head one of the pieces of music from the chorus from Celestial Alignment for Healing. And she gets up out of the chair and she walks through the airport, gets no pain, absolutely no pain, gets back out of the airport, and pretty much from that moment on, because there was a mindset shift, there was all the music that was going. It was a beautiful, incredible music with the bowls but very, very joyful. And she just stopped her. It's like her whole pain, her reference to pain changed from that moment on. And we have stories of people shifting from the big, I can't say the word on air, but that letter that we're looking at, have major changes where 3 weeks, 6 weeks later, the markers went completely down. This was from playing the bowls, listening to the music. We've had people, dramatic changes in levels of anxiety and stress. We've had people go, my goodness, this has helped me connect with my purpose, with my connection with my soul in a way that's never happened before. So there's just all kinds of stuff. I've had people have healings to me for their cats, for their dogs, taking children having major shifts, people very agitated at end of life, where they're so agitated, and hospice workers will bring in my music and play it. And all of a sudden, everything goes to a state of peace and people make their transition easily and effortlessly. It goes on and on and on. I am not saying this is the be all and end all. It is not. No one thing ever is the be all and end all. But this modality of healing music and sound healing as an adjunct for healing on every single level is available to us right now. And it's so simple to bring into your life.
It's simple and it's drug-free, no side effects.
None whatsoever.
None whatsoever. So we're actually though talking about sound frequency here. And correct me if I'm wrong, but my understanding is that the frequency levels that promote healing are much higher than the ones that we hear in our normal course of action. Is that right?
I really can't answer that question. My main focus has always been on the intention behind the frequency. Jonathan Goldman has always said, and I think this is beautiful, it's intention plus frequency equals healing. So we have a gamut of frequencies that are available to us in sound. And there are scientific studies being done now where very, very specific frequencies, carefully calibrated frequencies, can be used and medically to shift, to clear cancer, to clear disease. They calibrate it to literally down to the 1,000th or the millionth hertz frequency. And of course, those kinds of frequencies, I don't know. I don't believe you can hear them. They're almost like dog whistle levels, but they can and are used to invoke healing. Now, sound healing, the kind of stuff that I do, sound healing and then healing music, we operate in a different universe than kind of medical frequencies or the right frequencies. We operate in a universe where we're creating music. We're creating beautiful sound. We're invoking states of relaxation and repose. We're creating a space where the body goes into such a state of quiet and stillness, it becomes receptive for healing. We're bringing the body back into a state of harmony. And inside that state of harmony, healing is optimized. In my sound healing experiences with groups and in concerts, I've seen healing. I've seen people pass stones. I've seen people pass blockages. I mean, I haven't seen it. They've told me about it afterwards. That immediately after the thing, they went home and what was there wasn't there anymore. One of the most dramatic stories that happened to me was someone that came to a concert of mine in Mount Shasta, California. She had fractured her pelvis 11 places and she was in a wheelchair. And the next day after the concert, she was walking. Okay?
Wow.
Right? So did I hit a special frequency in my concert to make sure that those bones met? No, I did not. That was not something I was doing. I wasn't even thinking about that. I was holding a space, and inside of that holding a space, that sacred space, I was doing what I had been guided to do for years since I started doing this work. And that is to connect with the love that in all that is, and to allow my body, my voice, my hands to be the instrument in whatever way that spirit wants that to come through. And that's what I do. So I couldn't tell you what frequency it is. It's the divine frequency.
Well, for those who are listening in on the podcast, they can't see what's behind you, but you have shelves of rows and rows of bowls with all different sizes and colors. If you're in the market to buy a bowl, how do you determine which one to get for yourself? And is one enough or do you need more?
Well, the first thing you do is you call me because I've been putting bowls in people's hands since 1999 for 25 years. Literally, like within 3 weeks of me getting my bowls, I was such a crazy woman about it that I immediately said to all my friends, I was like, you guys got to have one of these. These are amazing. I started literally within 3 weeks of having my first bowl. I was putting bowls in people's hands, and I have been doing that professionally since then. So certainly reach out to me. You want somebody who has the expertise in this field to help you. What's not such a great thing to do is to just go off and buy the bowl on Amazon. The quality of crystal singing bowls varies greatly. So get some guidance. And so a good place to guidance is actually, as you mentioned, I wrote a book called Crystal Singing Bowls, The Angelic Sound of Healing, Relaxation, and Spiritual Awakening. And there is so much information in there that will, I promise you, if you are attracted by this idea and I haven't inspired you enough right now, go get the book. There's videos in there. There's music in there. It's got an audio book. And just start reading. You will be amazed at how simple it is, what a beautiful thing to bring into your own life. And there are all kinds of resources in that book about how to get started. So that's kind of the way I do it. And to answer your question, do you need more than one? Well, you are talking to a bowl hoarder, in case you haven't noticed. So I tell people that my bowls are, bowls are like potato chips. You can't just have one. And I also tell them that in my house, they propagate when I'm asleep. So, you can see in this room, there's 115 bowls. And I love on them all and I play them all. Does everybody need 150? No. One is good. One is a beautiful place to start. 2 is fabulous. 3 is even better. And if you get really inspired and love sharing these with your families, your communities, and your friends, you probably want a few more. But I know so many beautiful people that are healers and powerful healers, and they do incredible work with just one bowl. So, it's up to you and where your passion calls you.
Okay, well, Ashana, we have a special treat for our audience in a little while. But before we get there, I just wanted to ask you, how can people find out more about you and your work and your book?
Oh, well, all you have to do is go to soundofashana.com. And there's all kinds of stuff in there. And we have a special gift for everybody. So we are gifting everyone who's on this podcast a copy of the Golden Light of Healing meditation. And this comes from that project that I was sharing with you about before called Celestial Alignment for Healing. This is a 15-minute guided meditation. It is, I promise you, one of the most powerful guided meditations for healing you will ever listen to. We've had people working with this meditation extensively, and beautiful things come out of it. So we're just giving that to everybody to invite you into our world, the world of the sound of Ashana, and have an experience.
Well, that's very generous of you, Ashana. Well, I'll tell you what, we've talked enough about the bowls. I think it's time to hear them in action. So can you offer us a sampling of how you use them?
I can totally do that.
Oh, that was magnificent. It's wonderful. Well, Ashana, thank you so much for being on Dream Power Radio today.
Thank you so much for having us, Debbie.
We've been speaking about sound healing with Ashana. I hope you've enjoyed today's program. If so, please hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future episodes. Until next time, this is Debbie Spector-Weissman saying, sweet dreams, everybody.
You've been listening to Dream Power Radio with your host, Debbie Spector-Weissman. For more information on Debbie or to sign up for her newsletter, go to dreampowerradio.com. This has been Dream Power Radio.